Hi folks. Today my topic is going to be a lot more serious than usual, but there are some that can't be approached in a light manner. This time I'm going to talk about religion in US jails and prisons. A few weeks ago I saw a video where someone claimed that the percentage of atheists in American jails was not representative of the general population, where we are found in higher numbers. I thought that was kind of interesting, but set it aside. Then, YouTuber Chetonios recently discovered a Muslim YouTuber who makes the claim that there are a lot of problems in American society because religion is on the decline in that country. So I was ready to pounce on him, and I went looking for the source of the original claim about the atheism amongst US prisoners, and noticed that the Muslim population was grossly overrepresented. So I thought, I've got something interesting to hit him with. However, being an ex-journalist, I couldn't just throw those numbers and make all sorts of claims as to their meaning. If we atheists expect some serious answers from theists, we should be just as strict with the arguments we use. So, before I go into any of the details, let me start by saying those numbers mean shit. They mean absolutely nothing. Or at least they don't mean what a lot of people would wish they did. First, these numbers come from a census. From what I was able to determine, the American Bureau of Justice Statistics does a census of its prisoners every 5 years. In order to be able to claim that fewer atheists commit crimes than religious people, their religious convictions would have to be registered at the moment of arrest. Otherwise, it's meaningless. Why? Because things happen in jail. One of them is called conversion. Becoming religious looks good on someone's record, especially if he or she hopes to be let out early for good behavior. So please, don't go saying that atheists are model citizens when it comes to committing crimes. As far as I know, there is no data proving this assertion. I searched and couldn't find anything. Now, why have people been saying for so long that atheists commit fewer crimes? It all goes back to 1997 and a website called holysmoke.org. Someone called Rod Swift got in touch with the Bureau of Justice Statistics and got the 1995 census data grouping prisoners by religious convictions. So I went looking for proof to back up this story. Although the government has a lot of data on the web, I couldn't find the original document. However, I did find proof that the person who's supposed to have provided the information, Denise Golombaski, did work at the Bureau in those days and had assisted in collecting the original data. I therefore have no problem believing the legitimacy of the information. It's the interpretation of the data by some people that I oppose. Would be all over the theists if they behaved in a similar manner. So people, just drop it. But as mentioned earlier, the number of prisoners who claim to be Muslims is very high. Nothing like Christianity, but still very high. It constitutes the second largest religious group in American prisons and jails. In a 2009 study published in the International Journal of Offender Therapy and Comparative Criminology, most of the Muslims sampled were converted while incarcerated. 3 professors cooperated in this study. Nawal H. Amar from the Justice Studies at Kent State University, Robert R. Weaver from the Sociology and Anthropology Department at Youngstown State University, and Sam Saxon from the Justice Studies at Kent State University. But why would there have been so many conversions? Some people in federal law enforcement believe that the Saudi-backed Wahhabi clerics want to recruit American convicts to serve as terrorists. Mark S. Ham, professor of criminology at the Indiana State University, did look into this question. In a study published at the Oxford University Press, Professor Ham claims that roughly 240,000 inmates have converted to Islam between the time of the 9/11 attack and 2009. He used two case studies to find out if there are any facts to back the law enforcement's fears regarding the recruitment of radicals. First, he looked into the case of Kevin James, a terrorist arrested on August 31st, 2005, on charges related to a bombing conspiracy against many military facilities and synagogues in the Los Angeles area. James had converted to Islam during an earlier stay at the New Folsom prison. Then Professor Ham looked into the situation at the old Folsom prison, where the inmate-led Islamic Studies program has adopted a de-radicalization agenda. Looking into both cases, he could only come to one conclusion, the same as the Amar, Weaver, and Saxon study, and that is, there is nothing to indicate a link between conversion to Islam and radicalism. Professor Ham's findings are as follows. 1. The inmate conversions happen through friend and kinship networks. 2. The primary motivation for conversion is spiritual searching. 3. That most conversions have a positive effect. 4. That radical inmates are radicalized by other inmates, not outside influences. 5. That organizationally, radicalization is based on a prison gang model. 6. That individually, radicalization occurs through one-on-one proselytizing by charismatic leaders. 7. That maximum security is more likely to produce radicalized prisoners because of the little rehabilitation that is done there, because the yards are more politically charged, because there is more overcrowding, and because there are more gang infestation and violence. 8. The terrorist threats come from small groups like the one created by Kevin James. And finally, 9. The best safeguards against radicalization may be more chaplains and more programs run by moderate inmate leaders. So what can we conclude from all this? There is no data allowing anybody to say if any kind of religious belief, or lack thereof, makes them more or less dangerous. However, we can say that religion may have a positive impact on inmates' future behavior, and that Islam does not try to recruit potential terrorists. That's it. That's all. And I don't want to hear any more that atheists are better or worse citizens. There's no data to confirm such claims.
This has been an Obnoxious Cat production. I love that cat.